Well, it's nice you took her home. Press decline on your phone. Left me crying all alone.
Hi everyone, it's Mikayla. So today I'm going to be filming a video based on how to become a morning person and how to feel more awake in the morning time, because I know that a lot of us struggle when our alarm goes off. We just want to sleep in for like another hour or two, and then it just keeps going on, and then we find ourselves being late to whatever we had to go to, or just tired for the rest of the day because we've slept in. I noticed for me personally, when I sleep in past 8 o'clock, then the rest of my day is kind of just gone from there. Like, I feel drowsy every time I do fast movements. I get lightheaded. Like, sleeping in just doesn't work for me, and that's because I am naturally a morning person. Like, I never really sleep in. I can't sleep in. Like, I'll lay in bed until like 9 o'clock, but I'll be awake from 7. So yeah, since I do love being a morning person, I have implemented multiple things that I have on my list of what I'm going to say on how to become a morning person into my morning routine, so I do feel more awake and I feel my best. Before we get into this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video and if you want to see more videos from me. I really hope the focusing on this camera is better than it was last video, but I can't tell at the moment. I'm getting better at using this camera. It's just a lot bigger and different and more complex than the camera that I had before, which was just a standard video camera that was like this big. I also noticed when editing my last video that I was like really like slow. Yeah, I guess we can just get straight into this video on how you can become more of a morning person or a morning person than you were beforehand. So let's get into the video. So the first thing that I have on my list is to get at least 7.5 hours sleep every night. And I know this can be hard for a lot of people, you know, that have full-time jobs and like they go to a school that requires tons of homework and they can't physically go to bed until like 1, 2 a.m. and then they have to get up at like 5, 6 a.m. So I understand that it is hard. For me personally, if I don't get more than 7.5 hours sleep, like I feel exhausted the next day. I'm that type of person that needs a ton of sleep. So every night I get a minimum of about 8.5 hours sleep. And the reason I say this is because the more hours that are right for your body that you should get while you're asleep, the better you'll feel in the morning. But over time, if you can get like a minimum of 7.5 hours sleep, you will feel so much better. Getting a decent amount of sleep isn't just about feeling better in the morning, it's about feeling better overall. So you'll just feel better throughout the rest of the day, and it's just better for your overall health, your skin, your internal, external body. Getting an adequate amount of sleep every night can really benefit you in so many ways. So that is the very first tip that I would give to you. If it is possible and practical, then I would definitely recommend getting 7.5 hours sleep. The second one is, what are you going to be doing tomorrow? Plan your day. So I notice when I don't plan my day for the next day, nothing gets done, especially if it's just a stay-at-home day where I'm not doing anything. And I'm the type of person who goes through a lot of clothing. Like, I have a big washing basket that needs to be done right now actually. Washing my face in the morning, I don't have any problem with that, but a lot of people don't do that. That's like one of the key things on getting awake, in my opinion. And I feel like if you plan your day beforehand, before your night ends, then you would feel much more motivated to do what you've planned. Sometimes I go a bit overboard on my planning and I plan way too much. That isn't really practical. Even if you just write down a couple things like have a nutritious breakfast, do the washing, water the garden, like I don't know, just do anything that is involved in your life and what will get stuff done the next day. Do things that need to get done. And most of the time, those things that need to get done only take about 5 to 10 minutes, but we put it off so long. So if we plan our day beforehand, then life would just run so much easier and there'd be a lot less stress. The third one is, do not hit the snooze button. I sometimes do this. I don't really have a snooze button, but I more just turn off my alarm, because once I'm awake, once my alarm wakes me up, I know for a fact I'm not going back to sleep. So I can just lie in bed for an hour and just chill out, and I won't have to worry about going back to sleep. But a lot of people, they have to worry about going back to sleep, so I wouldn't recommend hitting that snooze button, because if you go back to sleep and then you wake up again, like, it's just over and over again, and it can really drain you mentally and physically. Like, and if you planned your day, then hitting that snooze button can really put off everything that you're doing, and you can lose motivation. Like, sometimes you just have to get up, and I know that can be hard for a lot of people, but you just need to like get up. Once you start doing it, it's not as hard as you think, but it's that whole process of like getting up that's difficult. But like once you're up, like. And the fourth one is, that goes along with the snooze button, is pick a song or alarm tone that is right for you. Some people like calming music that slowly gets more upbeat. Some people like twinkle sounds. Like anything that works for you, make sure you get that alarm, because having a loud song or something that startles you can really put a toll on your overall mood for the day. Because I've had alarms where they've been so loud they've scared like the shit out of me. Like I've gotten so startled from that alarm and like unmotivated to get up. Or like it just puts me in a bad mood because I got scared like first thing in the morning. So go through different alarms, and sometimes you have to go day by day and choose which alarm makes you feel your best when you wake up, or wakes you up really like calmly and stuff. And that's what I have now. I can't actually remember what my alarm sounds like, but I've had it for like a year and a half. But once it goes off, I kind of just know it goes off. So, and I wouldn't recommend having your phone, like a phone call as your alarm, like the iPhone like standard phone call like tone. Would not recommend having that. The fifth one is to drink green tea and to add coconut sugar and coconut oil. Obviously you don't have to add those two things, but if you want to, then I would recommend doing that, just because I love that. So I would think that you guys would love that too. But green tea is a great kickstarter. It has like natural small amounts of like caffeine. Or even have like black tea. Me personally, I don't like black tea at all. But I would recommend having a tea of some sort. Do not go for the coffee, because once you start getting addicted to that coffee in the morning, not having that coffee for one day, it's bad. I personally haven't drinking coffee or drank coffee for quite a number of years, I don't think. I would not recommend to have coffee in the morning. It's like really detrimental to your health. But green tea has that tiny amount of caffeine, and it can really help start your day. Not to mention it's filled with massive amounts of antioxidants and cancer fighting properties, and it's just overall a health beneficial product. The sixth one is make sure you have an extremely nutritious breakfast. So don't go for that Macca's in the morning. Like don't go for any of that. Just go for like oats or like a cereal that has like no added sugar, no added like preservatives and like all that stuff. Look for the more natural breakfast ideas. There's so many on the web. Like go on Pinterest. There's so many motivational like breakfast ideas. I personally don't do those. I just go for like oats, blueberries with a teaspoon of organic raw sugar. And this morning I put temp seeds in my oats. Not to mention I also put like ground up like sunflower and linseeds and stuff like that, and almonds as well. I put like powdered versions of that and I put it in my oats, and honestly I feel amazing. Like I have breakfast like that every morning. Having a nutritious breakfast is really going to start out your day really good. The eighth one is one that I personally don't do, but many people mention it, so I decided to just throw it into this video. And that one is to implement a couple of exercises into your morning routine. I personally don't do this. I don't know why, I just don't. I'm more of that like chilled out, like not going to do anything in the morning but still manages to do tons of stuff. I do all of my exercises at night before I go to bed for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I just do it anyway. But I would definitely recommend doing like a couple of exercises in the morning, but I can see why you wouldn't if you don't want to, because I don't do it. But I have heard and read that it is quite beneficial. The ninth one is something that I'm not passionate about, but I do believe in, and that is do not nap during the day, because it can really throw off your whole sleeping pattern. So for teenagers and adults, we don't need to nap during the day the same way children do. Like we do not need to nap during the day, and it can really do bad things to your health sleeping during the day, because that is not what we are designed to do, from what I've read anyway. Not to mention you lose a ton of your day while napping. Like you lose a couple hours, and that's a couple hours that you're not going to get back just because you didn't get enough sleep during the night that you should have gotten, or you didn't eat breakfast, or like all that stuff. And getting back onto the breakfast, there are a ton of people that do not eat breakfast, and I would not recommend that. Breakfast is literally the most important meal of the day. And the 10th one, which is my very last tip of the day on how to become a morning person is make sure you have a cup of water as soon as you wake up, or just a sip, or just some type of hydration as soon as you wake up, because that can really kick up your metabolism, kick up your energy, just kick up anything, and it is such a great way to start the day. Speaking of water, I'm like really thirsty. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you let me know. That pretty much concludes this video, and if you want to see more videos, I just said that already, okay? If you like this camera quality, and Charlie that decided to come in because he was annoying me, he was like talking to himself, and I was like, nah, you're sitting on my shoulder now, you're not interrupting my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I know I mentioned it at the start of my video, but you might have forgotten, so like just make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. Make sure you follow me on social media if you're one of those social media people, and yeah, that pretty much concludes this video, and I'm gonna go now.